Unmute, and guess what? Here he is. Oh wait, can I unmute you? Preston, it's not letting me unmute you. No, there we go. What in the world is happening? Oh my gosh. All right,
Hello?
Preston. There we go.
Yes.
Can you bring up your video? For some reason, it's not letting me do it. I don't know what's happening. This is about right.
All right. Start video. The host has stopped me.
You have to invite him. I think there's an option to invite him.
Oh. This is so ridiculous. Let's see. Ask to start video. Oh my gosh.
Hello.
This is so ridiculous. It shouldn't be this hard, but it is today for some reason. Guys, sorry we're starting late. The last two podcasts, actually, we were just joking about that on Messenger. The last podcast we had was literally with me and Ed, and we were talking about the fact that he's had 36 S chassis. And the internet literally just crapped out like 45 minutes into it.
I broke the internet apparently.
Yeah. So
It's too many 240s for anybody.
dude, no kidding, dude.
It's a wonder I don't have more gray hair. Real talk.
I've had one and it's caused me gray hair at my age. So
Yeah.
it's the
Well,
reason
you're
I have this
young.
beard. It aged me quick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we're back, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason that's flickering. I don't know what's happening.
Let me see if it's actually doing it.
What in the world is that?
It might just be our new monitor.
No, I think it's just the new monitor that doesn't work. So that's about right. Let me make sure that it's not doing it on the live stream.
I'm watching it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on the live stream.
Yeah, it hasn't done it.
Okay, so that's fine. We can deal with that. So many technical difficulties getting started even. But we're here now and we made it work. So everybody say hello to Preston.
Hi, Preston.
He is the man. I don't know.
No.
What's pretty crazy is I met you like 5 or 6 years ago at Shenandoah, I think.
Probably. Yeah.
And you had just me and you kind of started drifting at the same time, but you had like a huge heads up on me because you had a shiz ton of simulator stuff
Seat
going
time.
on. Seat time on a simulator.
Seat time will change your life when it comes to getting into drifting. I've been saying this. I wish I could look back and figure out when I got into sim racing. But it had to have been when I was 12 or 13 probably, or younger.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
What were you like doing? Were you just like racing like grip cars, or when did you get into the whole drifting side of like the sim stuff?
I feel like I had seen, so I remember the first thing I remember seeing of drifting was Tanner Faust drifting at Jersey, maybe something like that. Was really into Dirt 2 with the worst steering wheel you could imagine. It didn't do anything.
Yep.
Started doing a little bit more research, found Live for Speed, and begged and begged and begged for a Logitech G27 for my birthday. Got that, and it changed my life. Like, it was the coolest thing ever, and spent every waking moment on Live for Speed, just getting seat time in.
Yeah, that's crazy. What's funny is like the most motorsport thing that I had done, I think, when I went drifting was like just driving go-karts at tracks. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So like I really didn't have any experience other than like, doing hood stuff on like four-wheelers and stuff. You know what I mean? Like driving,
Yeah.
We had go-karts and four-wheelers and stuff as a kid, but like I would drift four-wheelers, but I didn't really even know what drifting was, like, so I went to like the first, I think the first drift event that I ever went to was one that I drove actually.
Wow.
I think so.
That's crazy.
Actually, I believe that.
So like it was a culture shock, and like, you know,
Yeah.
I'd watched a ton of videos and have been in like into it for a while, but it, you know, so it's yeah. The
Yeah. So
difference with your driving level and mine right off the bat, like
I found the video for my first event on Facebook,
yeah,
and I realized it was 3 days, I think, before my 16th birthday.
yeah,
Yeah, because I
Um,
remember you didn't even have your driver's license yet.
No, a friend of mine had driven me in my car to the track, with tires and wheels in the back and a jack.
Yeah.
So
That's the best way to go
yeah,
drifting, man. It
it
really is.
is.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
You don't
No
know if you're gonna
stress
make it
of
home,
loading
but you just hope
anything.
so.
Exactly. Yeah, there's like no stress of worrying about a trailer or anything, but there's the
Yep.
giant pile of stress of getting the car back home.
Yep.
yeah.
So yeah, because the second event I think it was, I sort of knew Dan Savage, and he took my car out for a lap. And while he was driving the car, the bolts on the turbo to the manifold loosened up, and the car drove terribly, and I had to street it home like that, and it was like the most stressful thing. Yeah, thankfully I lived like 30 minutes for Shenandoah, so could have
Yeah.
been
Well,
worse.
Yeah, that's
I was
true.
gonna say that is less of an ordeal to drive to the track when it's only 30 minutes away.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was driving 2 hours to the track, that was scary. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I mean, but people drive more than that, like all
Yeah.
the time.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, we're very fortunate to be this close to VIR, Shenandoah, Summit Point.
Yeah.
Got a lot of tracks nearby, which is cool.
In
Yep.
Spirit now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild. Like within like a 3-hour radius of Central Virginia, you've got all of that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to just throw a car on a trailer or even drive there. I don't have a trailer, so I'll just drive there. You know,
Yeah, that's right.
I've only had to trailer my car home from the track once, and that was because I think that might have been when I don't remember which time that was, but it wasn't running. No, that was when the elbow.
Oh, the
I was
coolant
leaking
elbow,
coolant
Okay.
out of the coolant
Yeah.
elbow.
We
and
even did the trackside try to fix it with JB
trackside
Weld.
JB.
Yeah, I was
Weld
about to bring
fix.
up JB
Yep.
Weld.
Oh man, the sun right here is ridiculous.
It gives you all a nice glow. I mean, Ed's hair is just glowing right now, and his beard. Whew.
Yeah.
Man.
It's kind of warm too, and Chris is gonna come down and be like, "Man, why are you guys in the sun?" Like this is what he does every time.
And then he'll just like hold up an umbrella and block it for us. And
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Good
sometimes.
umbrella guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously I want you to kind of explain what you're doing now, and then we can kind of go through the progression of what or how you got there. So what are you doing under your umbrella now, I guess, and then we'll kind of get back to that and kind of how you got into it.
Okay. Yeah. Right now I work for Vaughn Gittin Motorsports, RTR Motorsports, in the motorsport side of the company, which is running Vaughn, Chelsea Denofa, and Lauren Haley's teams. So providing all the social media content, partner assets, all for them, as well as creating content for the RTR vehicles side of the company. So I had their RTR Ranger for a few weeks that I was taking up in the mountains and shooting photos and video and whatever needed for that. So yeah, it's me and Michael Russo are the two videographers in the company. So working side by side with him to get everything done, which has been nonstop. Even I figured quarantine had slowed down a lot and have a bunch of free time, but it's pretty much the entire company is pivoted to using the media to maintain with everyone versus the motorsports.
Well,
So
that's what
instead
you
of
pretty much have to
FD,
do.
we're doing video shoots and we're just doing content only. We were in Moab for 4 days, I think it was last week, just off-roading and creating content. So that's been a crazy change of events because I'm so used to, run and gun filmmaking, just showing up to a track and trying to make something happen versus
Right.
having
An actual plan of what's going to happen.
Yeah, we can pre-plan everything. We can do whatever we want, which has been a lot of fun and really stressful to be like, oh yeah, here we have, I was on a shoot a few weeks ago, hadn't directed much, and it was just like, all right, here is two $100,000 cars. Here's a private track day and a whole crew. Like, tell us what to do. Let's make this happen. And yeah, I didn't sleep the night before. It was terrifying, but all in all, it went pretty well. It was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, that is a
Yeah.
good time.
Mm.
I mean, I want to say that I help direct like the promotional videos we do, and it's a lot of fun to just like have ideas start clicking and everything start working. I mean, granted, I don't
Yeah.
do any of the editing or any of the shooting, but to see what Tevin can pull off it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's really daunting, just because I've been a B cam operator. Like I've been the second guy there catching different angles pretty much all my life, other than shooting frenemies, and being thrown 20 people and really expensive cars that I've dreamed about being around, and having the opportunity to drive them around the track and set up all the shots and direct everything was really, really cool. So been
Awesome.
enjoying that.
Yeah, as far as the editing thing that you were saying a second ago, it's really funny because like for like the build series videos that we're doing, like on some of our cars, I literally will like set up a camera on a tripod and then I'll narrate a little bit and then it'll just film like hours of footage.
No.
You know what I mean? And then like I'll change angles here and there, stop and
Yep.
start. So Tev knows like, hey, I want this part at the beginning of the clip. We've kind of got that figured out. But it's like I don't really know what I'm shooting. And Tevin
Yeah.
takes this like footage and makes it look so good, like
Dude,
it
huge
makes
shout
it-
out to him for doing that. That
Yeah.
He does
is
so
incredible.
good. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is time lapse too, but it's so hard and it takes so much time to like, like if I'm working on something, like I can't get moving shots. Like if I'm like working on something cool, he'll come back and like, with his full rig and like get,
Yep.
cinematic style shots and stuff. And it kind of blends all in perfectly with everything. But it's like, it's a true art form. That stuff, I've said it with the podcast with him, like the whole video, audio, everything is like the editing. It's a true art
Mhm.
form.
It really is.
It's
been
hard.
a lot of fun to learn, but it also like the small things, like for a lot of these shoots, like the biggest, most stressful part is simply having storage to back up all your footage, having batteries charged. We have 8 GoPros or something, trying to organize all of that and keep everything backed up so you're not missing a shot because a camera's dead or a SD card's full. Like, I mean, that on a bigger production, that's one person's job.
Oh my
Here you
gosh.
have one person, 2 people managing that. So
Just running around constantly, making sure batteries are still going, clips
Yeah.
are still rolling. That's crazy.
I wish I knew the amount of miles I ran during that shoot I was directing, because I was just like sprinting everywhere.
That's awesome.
So I want to kind of back up a little bit. Obviously, we know that you're working for RTR now, which is kind of insane. And it's just down in North Carolina, right? That's where their headquarters are?
Yeah, just north of Charlotte.
Okay,
Yes,
gotcha.
So it's about a 4-hour drive for me. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. I think it's like 3.5 hours or 3 hours from here because it's like straight down 29. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess I want to talk about like how you got into the whole video, photo video kind of side of things, because I mean, you came to as far as I knew, like you would come to some events and you would drive and then you would be like, okay, well, I'm just here to like shoot this one. I really want to take pictures and shoot video. And then you would drive the next one. Is that kind of where you got your start with this kind of thing?
Kind of, not really. So I don't know how I got into taking pictures. So I'd gotten into sim driving. Through that, I had created the Preston Rhaner Facebook account. Rhaner's just a random last name I made up, so it wouldn't mess with my real Facebook account.
Yeah.
My Preston Heatwell account. So I created the Rhaner account and just started networking and realized there was local events at Shenandoah, because I was only in sim driving Facebook groups and stuff, networking through that. So when I saw there was events at Shenandoah, and I don't know how I was into photography, somehow it was. Sister had given me her camera or something, and I showed up to the first event and figured I'd just go shoot photos for fun. And that was the best way. Like, I'm so glad I did that, because that allowed me to network with so many people. Meeting you guys, I would have never have had the social confidence to come up and talk to you guys if it wasn't like taking photos and sending photos to people and like having something in common with everybody, since I knew nothing.
Man, it was a pleasure to talk to the 15-year-old kid who was drifting like that out there.
Yeah.
Like real talk.
No.
I just remember real quick side note to that, but I just remember like everybody on track be like, dude, that kid's 15 years old. Dude,
I heard
that
it so many times
That kid
that
is
day.
15 years old. It's his second drift event ever. You know what I mean? Like that was like every time I'm like watching cars go around the track or something, you know, like, dude, you know that kid's 15?
That's hilarious. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's
But
a cop knocking at our door, so
oh, fun.
Ed's gonna handle that. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm just curious as to like kind of how it moved from there.
Yeah, so I wrote some notes down just because it's a mess and I don't remember. There was so much that happened within 3-4 years.
Yeah,
So how I got into, I guess my driving sort of developed faster than my video did.
yeah,
It was just a good way for me to make connections, and then I'd been building the car. So through media, I had met the Black Hand guys, amazing group of guys, Jeremy, Thomas, all those guys,
yeah.
Brandon. So I had gotten, my parents actually bought me my 240 shell, bare shell, because it was all I talked about. And a friend had one that was blown up SR, it was worth nothing.
Yeah.
And the guy that owned it didn't know anything about drift tax apparently. So they got me
You
that
got
car for my
lucky.
14th birthday. Yeah. So I'd never changed oil in a car, anything. They just gave me this car and they're like, all right, here's a bare shell with a blown up motor. This is all you've been talking about. It's your job to figure out how to assemble it and get the money for parts, everything. So I started doing that. Found a SR in DC, I think. Started putting that in. Didn't know anything. Got lost on the internet trying to figure it all out. At one point, I kind of like gave up and started asking the Black Hand guys for help. When I was 15, they somehow, nicest guys ever, drove down from Richmond 2 hours to help me finish the motor swap after work.
Yeah.
So they were there till like 12 o'clock, wrenching on that thing. Finally got everything figured out that I was clueless on, just in time to drive my first event before I was 16.
So insane.
So yeah, I guess I was just driving events on and off throughout that and doing media as well. And just trying to network with as many people as I could. So I started to become friends with the people that are competing in Pro-Am. And Austin Sora, who's a Pro-Am driver, reached out to me and he was like, dude, I want you to film a video for me. And it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. We traded like $150 in like a roof rack or something. It was some weird deal. My friend drove me to the event and I don't even think I could get media to the event. I didn't know Brian Eggert at all at the time. Somehow filmed the event. And that was my first, paid gig and Pro-Am, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
And throughout that season, it slowly grew to filming with Chris Katrupi, and a few of the other Pro-Am guys. And throughout that year, I filmed for Dominic Martinez. Do you remember him?
I don't think I do actually.
Okay, he drove 2 rounds of US Drift. He's from California, this young kid. I think he was younger than me at the time, driving in Pro-Am.
Wow.
And his dad had me come out and film. And Chow from Matt Field's crew was crewing for him. And he was like, man, I need your contact information. I would love to, like, Matt Field is looking for a media guy. And that like made my month right there, that
Yeah.
I was like even thought about for that. It obviously never worked out because I was 17 and there was no way I could even get into Formula Drift or travel.
Yeah.
But moving into the next year, Brian Eggert posted on Facebook looking for a videographer for the series. And somehow, because I had been networking with all the drivers, that everybody just started tagging me in the comments. And it was just like the coolest feeling ever seeing that.
Yeah.
And then filmed for US Drift for a year. So that was when I was 18, yeah. So it was the first time I could get media to events.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I sort of got into Pro-Am. Do you want the whole story? It feels like it's going a little long.
No, dude, like I want to know everything.
All right.
Because it's been like a couple years since I talked to you. I think at H2O at H2O last
Yeah,
year
H2O.
we were trying to like hang out, but you were working with Crispy, so it's
Yeah.
like there's no break there. It's not a
No.
vacation trip. It's a work trip.
Yeah. Well, it was probably one of the coolest, funnest shoots I've ever been on.
Yeah.
Just Crispy
'Cause
and his group of guys was like the funnest shoot
They're
I've ever
insane.
been on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just filming behind the scenes. Like he posted on Facebook like, hey, I need somebody just to shoot behind the scenes. And I was like, all right. I've always wanted to go to H2O. And there's no better person ever to go to H2O with than Crispy.
He is H2O.
So yeah, exactly. Like being there with him, I 100% realized that because he'd be driving anywhere, they'd see him and they would instantly like do a burnout or something.
Yep. People go crazy, man. They want that clout on that video.
So yeah, like one of the nights we just like went around to different corners and he would post up on his Instagram like, come here, we're gonna do burnouts. People would show up until people got ticketed or arrested and cleared out and we'd move on to the next spot. I ended up getting maced or whatever that stuff they were spraying.
Oh my gosh.
We went back to the condo. I like hung out the van door, like out the side so it wouldn't stink up his van. It's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a really, really fun trip.
It's memorable for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good first H2O. We'll see what happens this year.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, moving from US Drift, Brian Eggert asked me to come out and film Hyperfest. So I was filming for Hyperfest and the guys with Donut Media. I feel like I'm missing a year here. Maybe not. I don't know. Filming for Hyperfest and the Donut Media crew were there. Lauren Helston and Sam, Drift Idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And the last day I was like, hey guys, I've got a bunch of footage. If y'all just want to have it, I'll come over and give it to you. Whenever their place at Hyperfest and sort of networked with them and gave them my footage. And that transpired to the next year when I turned, did I get out of high school when I was 18 or 19? 19? I think it was 19. I don't know.
You were an old boy.
As soon as I got out of high school, I quit my job and was like, all right, I got to make something happen.
Yeah.
So I started just bumming rides and trading for video work to Grid Life. And then FD New Jersey, I went out there and was able to get media. Thank you to Brian Eggert. And filmed for Austin Meeks and Ryan Literal, just who I had made connections just through friends. And then after that, posted the video up on some Facebook page and the guys from Donut saw it, Jesse. And he was looking for somebody on the East Coast to film Frenemies. So that was like the greatest day of my life doing that. So I went out to film Frenemies for a season and that got me connected with Matt and Odie.
Yeah.
So that was a major step. I mean, getting into filming FD is extremely difficult. I mean, Pro 2 is easier because you can usually make connections through somebody moving up from Pro-Am into Pro 2.
Right.
But breaking into the Pro 1 field is really difficult in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing as like a driver going from Pro 2 to Pro 1. It's like a totally different ball game.
Yeah. I mean, media, like in my opinion, is the same as being a driver. You work your way up through the different fields, making connections from pro or grassroots, Pro-Am, Pro 2 and Pro 1. But I was able to skip one of those steps, which I was very, very grateful for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went back. Oh wait, no, that same year. Wow. Same year, I was on Craigslist just looking for work in general. I was like, why not? I'll look on Craigslist. There's got to be like somebody local that's looking for something.
Yeah.
And a listing popped up that somebody needed a automotive filmmaker. And I was like, there's no way this is real. Like, I do not believe this. 100% fake. Reached out, sent my demo reel and had a meeting with the guy probably the same week. And it turns out he filmed in Imsa, was looking for somebody.
Sweet.
Graham Genvy, like the nicest guy, just needed somebody to help him out and filming for, I think he was filming for Lexus Motorsports and Core at the time. So I joined him for the rest of the season through Craigslist, started filming in Imsa. So that was an incredible experience working at that level of motorsports. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's a whole
Um,
different breed of people too.
yeah,
It's pretty insane.
it was awesome just seeing how everything operated at the top level of motorsports.
Yeah.
But the media in the industry is, I walked into the first media meeting in Imsa. I drove with Graham up, like second time I'd ever met him. We drove to Toronto together, which was kind of daunting, but ended up being awesome. Walk into the media meeting and I was like, is this place a retirement home? Like everybody was so old in that sport. It was hilarious. But it
There's
was
a lot.
just really fun being 18 in an industry that was predominantly probably 40 years old average.
Yeah, there's a lot of old money in that sport.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a lot of connections that people have just had for years and keep bringing back.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year, was it? Man, I don't know. This year's a blur. Last year, at the end of 2018, we ended the season off great in IMSA, tons of clients. Beginning of the next year, everything fell through. I mean, it's just the way IMSA is. All the media in the industry just keeps switching between teams, budget cuts, because they don't value media near as much as FD does.
Yeah.
Right.
So I started seeing that and wanted to pivot more into filming Formula Drift, which really surprises me because the budget in FD is minuscule compared to IMSA, but they just really don't value media as much.
Well, I think the biggest difference like between that is like IMSA, you have a lot more corporate sponsors.
Yeah, definitely.
Not to say that FD isn't getting there to that point now, but like there's a lot more. I think Formula Drift is kind of one of those things where it's almost like an action sport. So the person driving is kind of just as much as a part of the program and the personality. It's kind of like NASCAR where the drivers are kind of a personality as well as they're driving. And that's something I think that definitely sets Formula Drift apart is the media in general compared to other motorsports, because Formula Drift actually like promotes guys to do their own YouTube channel, promotes them to do, or, like they're a big fan of that versus a lot of these other, like racing circuits, kind of frown upon that. They want the circuit itself to be their own media platform, so it's a pretty interesting series.
Yeah. And it seemed like IMSA prioritized the cars. I mean, the drivers will switch teams every season, contracts on a yearly basis.
It's like Formula One.
Yeah, but on a way like crazier scale. I mean, the driver I was working for, Kyle Marcelli, like one of the nicest drivers I've ever worked with, but he was driving for Lexus at the time. And the next year, they have a licensing level, so where a certain car can only have a platinum level and a bronze level driver to like even it all out. So it helps with the gentleman drivers and the actual professional athletes. So he ended up leaving that team and going to another team which didn't have as much budget for media, etc. So yeah, moving into the next year after that all kind of fell through with IMSA. I had no work. I had no money in my bank account. Like I was just like, all right, this is it. My video career is over. I've lost all my contacts because Frenemies wasn't continued. IMSA was done. I mean, US Drift had switched to a single round year. So in reality, I only had like 2 gigs the entire year scheduled.
Yeah, they just like had this shootout at VIR, right?
Yeah. So at that point, I was just scrambling. So I still had Matt Field's contact information. The year before, when I was filming for Frenemies, we had a little bit of downtime, and I just pulled up my laptop and made a minute edit for Odie and Matt and gave it to them same day, and it blew their minds. They were like, nobody's ever done this before for us. Like everybody wants crazy, like long turnaround times, but this is incredible. Awesome. So moving into the next year when I had nothing, I called Matt and I was like, dude, I really want to work with you guys. I have nothing right now, but I have enough money to get a plane ticket to Long Beach. If you cover my expenses, I'll come out for free and film for you and Odie, and we'll try to do something with Frenemies. And he brought up the idea of the same day frenemies, 3 episodes a weekend or however many days it is. And I took that idea and was just like freaking out. Like every single day I got to make a full story video with beauties and interviews and everything. But just wung it, flew into Long Beach, met a whole group of guys I barely knew and started filming. But it turned out great. After Long Beach, they brought me on for the full season.
That's awesome.
So that changed my life, hands down. Just being able to jump straight in solo into Pro One was incredible.
Yeah, that's
so you are your own
yeah.
team. You're a one-man
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was probably the best year of my life that I'll ever have.
Yeah.
Just jumping from no work into having all of that and a bunch of other projects I was working on at the time for other people as well.
Yeah. Now, are all those episodes of Frenemies still on YouTube?
Yeah.
Or,
so after each round,
they were posted to Instagram, right?
Yeah. So we wanted to push IGTV was the concept for all of it.
Gotcha.
But as well as all the partners that were contributing to the project, they wanted to be able to post it. So after each weekend, I would combine the episodes into one long format, with all the videos condensed, and they would put it up on Facebook for Borla Exhaust, etc. And those all live on the Frenemies YouTube channel now, I think.
Okay.
Because Odie and Matt have started doing their own vlogs and their own content.
Yeah, I've noticed they've been doing it themselves.
Yeah, which I was pushing for because they wanted to do vlogs and they wanted me to come out, and I was like, it's going to be impossible for me to be out there. I don't want to move there. And they wanted to like send me footage. I was like, this just isn't going to work, transferring hundreds of gigabytes of footage all the time. I live on a farm, so internet isn't an easy one.
You literally, I've been to your house to pick up an oil pump for an SR.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So you live way out, like you live so far out there, like you couldn't even be home. You literally left it on a rock, like at the end of your driveway. Like the oil pump was literally just set up against a rock, and you're like, yeah, it'll just be at this rock when you turn in my driveway. And I was like, cool. Went there, like in the middle of nowhere, grabbed an oil pump, drove back out.
Yeah.
Oh man. Let's see. So 2019, would that be you, Frenemies?
Yeah. Yep. If you go, I sent you the link to my website. There's one episode on there actually.
Okay, cool. Let me pull it up.
That's just a single. I think it was from Jersey, which was one of my favorite rounds. And the hardest part of doing Frenemies by myself per day was literally the logistics of getting all the equipment in the right place. Because early in the morning, you would need to knock out beauty shots and establishing shots in the gimbal, and then pick up an early audio bit. So I would switch to handheld. Then they'd go out for warm up, and you got to get beauties of that. So I'd switch back to gimbal. On a track, you'd switch back to the tripod. You're trying to juggle 1,000 things at once, which is a really fun logistical issue to try to solve. What it came down to was New Jersey is hands down the easiest round because you are 100 feet from the track at all times.
Right, it's consistent.
So those videos made it probably the best just because of that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm going to actually do this real quick and then I'll get back to it because for some reason it wants to, I don't know why this is showing up. It's so weird, but let me get back to it. I'm going to pull up this video real quick. Boom. We'll hit play.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll do audio or not. It's kind of a little weird, but you can get the idea of the quality and stuff of what you're doing. And this was all shot one day, edited same day.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
show up to the track, film probably around there's usually a little bit of a break midday during FD. So I would edit during there. I'd always be in Matt's toter home, just editing away. Go out and film, and as soon as we got back to the house, edit till whenever it was done. There was one round in Irwindale that I edited till 5 or 6 a.m. I think.
Oh my God.
Got like an hour of sleep and went right back into it. But it was a lot of fun.
A few energy drinks in there.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
There's
a
if
couple.
you follow Preston on Instagram, there's just this like ongoing thing with Red Bull.
That has slowly died off because now I can't drink Red Bull at events because we're sponsored by Monster, which
Oh
hurts
no.
every part of
Now-
my
now
soul.
you're drinking the
I
good stuff.
I can't do it. I try.
What?
There's one like the purple dragon tea or whatever. I like that one, but nothing hits like Red Bull.
So you're gonna get in trouble for I'm just gonna tell people now. If you haven't watched the any of the Frenemies series, it's actually a really good series. Matt and Odie are awesome. And Preston is even cooler. So if you go back to 2019 and watch that stuff, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was an incredible year.
Yeah.
Hopefully this year will top it. It's starting off rough, but I have faith.
Yeah. I just really hope that FD even happens this year, to be honest.
Yeah, same.
I'm itching so bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
ready.
Watching that video made me just like miss everybody. Like it's the people now that make me excited for it versus even just the drifting. Like I just miss everybody that is in the industry now.
Yeah.
Just seeing all the media homies again was something I miss. But if it doesn't happen, which means we get to pivot more into doing cool video shoots instead of competing, which, it's fun for me.
Worst case, a year break with cool more video things would.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing some actual FD rounds this year happen.
Yeah. I'd like to see some competition about now, which
Yeah.
we have the Freedom Factory, which Vaughn and Chelsea will be competing against each other in a little interesting battle. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
and I think they're doing it in the comp cars. I hope. I don't think that's been confirmed yet, but we will
Yeah.
have the competition FD cars out there, the new RTR cars. So
How long do you think it'll be until they're doing FD at the Freedom Factory down there with Cletus?
I was talking about that the other day. I would love to see that.
I think
it's a pretty good facility.
It's the only oval track with just like a subtle infield transition.
Yeah. It's
which
well
I think is
they
great.
literally made that track because like I thought that whole like entire series of him like buying this track and building it and doing the infield basically for a huge burnout pad was like so cool.
Yeah.
So like I was like super into like all those videos. But yeah, I mean like they made the transition like stupid
It's
smooth
like low car
for
friendly.
for
Yeah,
drifting.
exactly.
I could probably make the transition in my car.
But I mean
I
there's
don't think so.
Bumper just explodes.
there's like there's a ton of seating there. There's a ton of places for toter homes and like rigs, and like the layout is pretty much like whatever you want it to be because the entire infield can be used. So I think I don't know. I think FD would probably be all about it,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. And Cletus is having Vaughn and Chelsea come up with their own lines.
Yeah.
At the Freedom Factory. So I'm really curious. I know I was in a car earlier and Chelsea's going to be working on a line. So I'm really curious to see what he comes up with. It'll be cool to see like a non just like 2-turn FD line, but have some complexity to it. I expect it to be kind of like the man line or something with Hoonigan. So
like
we'll see.
This is the level. Like step up to this level.
Well, if Chelsea's excited about like making a line, it's going to be just legitimately gnarly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
because he's just so absurd.
That's something I've learned is he always takes it just to another level.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
He'll make it crazy.
Yeah, Chelsea is definitely one of my favorite drivers to watch, just because like he could be in qualifying, like he'll set down like a solid score, like a 90 or whatever, and then just like, what, I'm just gonna backwards entry.
Yeah,
See what the judges think.
St. Louis, like
yeah,
that is one of the peaks of my like watching FD. It blew my mind just seeing him throw that.
Yeah. Speaking of FD, Ed has never been to an FD round. So like I think it's like it's one thing, and it's kind of like you can go to grassroots events, and like even with like some of the pro level cars and like pro am cars that are like 700 horsepower, which is like a pro am car now, which is absurd. But like some of these cars come out there and they'll drift the same layout you're doing. but like FD tracks are a little bit different because there's a lot more speed. There's a lot more commitment. Like, and seeing that live is like a whole different ball game. You know, like watching it on the live stream, you know, if you've only watched FD on a live stream, it's like, it's cool. It's so cool to watch, but it's so much cooler to be there and like see that, you know?
Yeah, you don't feel the energy through the live stream.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I would recommend going to, I mean, I'm sure English Town's going to be crazy,
Yeah.
but Atlanta, just the energy there at the Gauntlet is just incredible.
Yeah.
And you'll never see an FD car, or at least a top tier FD car on full kill grip mode outside of competing. I mean, it's just too hard on the cars. But seeing them like fully dial in the cars and grip them up as much as they can, just it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I'm looking forward to
the
it.
first thing that like impressed me, because I went to Irwindale, we were talking about this earlier a couple of years ago, and that was actually my first FD event. But like it was the speed that I was like really surprised about, you know, because like obviously they're starting on the back stretch, and you know they've got that full run up, but when they enter into like turn one, it's literally it's just so freaking fast. Like
It's
you
like
can't.
you're expecting them to slow down, but they don't.
No,
just go
they just go faster. Like they somehow accelerate through that turn, you know, which is like they're going sideways and accelerating, you know, which is like that doesn't make sense to me, you know, grassroots drifter. And it's just so insane to watch and see that, you know, be able to see the amount of grip that they're doing live, because you can't really tell that in a live stream or like, you know, in the camera. You just, the depth kind of thing isn't there to pick it up, you know?
I mean, the amount of forward grip that they've gotten these cars to generate is just ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, they're straight up drag cars, really.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really excited they did some new stuff with the new suspension on the Vaughn and Chelsea's Mustangs this year. So I'm really excited to see those in competition.
Even more three-wheeling?
Less. They settled the cars down, made them more drivable, but faster. So they'll be more consistent. I know I'm so sad to see the three-wheeling go away.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pushing for them to dial that back in so we can get that for some video shots.
Just for practice. Hey, just like loosen up the rear end again real quick so we can see that three-wheel, and then you can put it back. I just need the shot.
Yeah, Ray's going to be hating me for bugging him about that because he's all proper, but we need some video magic. We're planning a shoot on a really fun track, and there's this nice right-hand crested turn that I'm hoping, I mean, I feel like we could get almost two wheels off the ground if we hit it right, which would be, you know, if we can get a full-on wheelie, I don't think it could happen, but if it does, I mean, we'd break the internet with that.
Yeah, well, you're going to capture it if it does happen, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll be trying.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Excited for what's to come with those cars.
Yeah. So currently with RTR, obviously we can't talk about what you've been doing, but what are you guys looking forward to here in the future other than FD?
Well, so I was able to, I might be able to say a little bit. I don't really know.
Okay.
Let me like read this text very carefully.
Well, yeah, don't put yourself out by any means. It's not.
I was text exactly kind of what to say. It is a revolutionary project car that is going to change everything, and it's hands down the most exciting thing I've ever seen and ridden in my life. So really, really, really big things to come with that.
Sweet.
And hopefully we'll be released in the next few months. It's been in the works for a long time now. So I'm so sick of not being able to say anything about it for just months, because I keep traveling and everybody's like, where are you going? I was like, I can't say, like, give you like 3 more months and you might be able to see. But that's the main thing. Cletus McFarland's coming up. So we're all planning for that right now. And anything after that is just up in the air because nobody knows what events are going to be canceled. So
yeah,
kind of just running it by a week basis, I guess.
Yeah.
We just drove in an RV, me, Vaughn, and 3 other people from the company. From Maryland, Vaughn drove out, picked me up from Virginia, met some guys in Tennessee, drove all the way out to Utah for a video shoot. We went to a private testing grounds where you can't fly for the previous 14 days to enter. So we all had to drive all the way out there. We had a week of shooting there and then drove to Moab for a few days and then flew home.
Cool.
So
Jeez, dude.
bunch of editing to do from that. Yeah, that was a good first trip of the year.
Yeah, like
First
how many
trip
gigabytes
back
of-
in.
Yeah. How many gigabytes of data do you I mean, not data, but like footage do you get from something like that from shooting for, 10 days?
So this was pretty low. Like this wasn't a lot of shooting.
Okay.
Just the we were shooting more documentary style. So it wasn't much, but I think it was around 8 terabyte probably.
Solid.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So much.
The Red just loves eating hard drives.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
loves it.
Well, that's a
That's all it
full
does.
frame camera, right?
No, the Red is a what is it? APS-C.
Okay.
But it shoots raw 4K 120 FPS. So I mean,
So
you burn
Just-
through it
Yeah,
ridiculously
Just
quickly.
doesn't take any amount
Stupid.
of time.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
that's been like, I didn't realize how much it costs to operate a camera like that, just due to media, just buying hard drives.
oh my
I
gosh.
mean,
I
2
can't even
shoot days
imagine.
and you end up buying 8 terabytes of hard drives to store it all. That adds up really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
just bought a terabyte hard drive for my PC at home, and I was like, because
I just bought another 4 terabyte today.
but I mean, you have to have it. It's like, and it's required.
Yeah. Holy crap, dude.
That's awesome.
Oh,
I've
there's
got
more.
a Pelican case with literally like 20 or 30 hard drives in it,
Oh my gosh,
all
dude.
4 terabytes.
And I
So-
think Tevin is, how many do we have? Because we have a bunch that's just storage for, and then a lot of them get cleaned out. But
Yeah, we have a fair amount. I know.
Yeah.
I bought probably
Tevin
4.
would know.
Yeah, Tevin would know right off. I know I bought like 3 or 4 for him, and I know he's been buying some lately. So.
Yeah.
Mhm. I mean, we're looking to rotate more into having like a server, but it's so hard to justify to them that we literally need like 70 terabytes
Yeah,
to back up.
Oh my
And that's
gosh.
just so expensive.
it is expensive.
Yeah.
It's easier for them to look at and be like, oh, we just need like $100 hard drive here, $100 there. But it's so much easier once you have a server and you don't have to plug 30 hard drives into one computer to work on a project. So
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like, and at that point too, you have to be super organized to know what's on what hard drive.
yep,
Like, so you're not constantly having to go back and forth. And
making sure it's all backed up and where it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I worked freelance, I had a spreadsheet of every single one of my hard drives and every single project that's on each one.
that's super smart.
Yeah.
What
That helped a lot.
We'll be right back.
can we talk about your PC a little bit, or do you have a Mac, or what do you edit on?
Yes. So I have here at home, I built a custom built PC 2 years ago, which is a 1080 and a Intel 7700K, I think.
Okay.
But mostly now I just edit everything on a MacBook Pro, unless it is, a major project. I have an i7 MacBook Pro with 32 gigs of RAM.
So I mean, it does go.
Yeah, I mean, it'll handle red footage. It'll handle pretty much everything. But we're about to start working on this big documentary project, and I'll start transferring everything over to the PC for that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But we have to edit on the road a lot of the time. So
Right. So you have to be.
we
mobile.
yeah, the best things, literally the thing that's going to change my life more in the next 2 years than anything else is solid state hard drives. This
They're
is a
so nice.
terabyte right here, and I
Yeah.
can throw it around. I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
So that's been amazing.
Yeah, I really hate having to wait on an HDD. Like that's
Yeah.
my biggest thing nowadays. It's like, and I thought my HDD crashed in my PC at home, so that's why I bought this terabyte
Exactly.
SSD. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, it showed up, started working again, but I'm still like, man, I really just need to ditch it before it breaks again. And
Yeah.
everything will just be snappy again.
And when you invest thousands of dollars of capturing footage and having a drive that has spinning discs, and
It's just
if you
not
drop it and it
it's not
corrupts or
efficient.
anything, that's
Yeah.
thousands of dollars that could be going right there.
right.
So we have these solid state drives that every event, I have 2 of these. All the footage goes onto these, and then brought home and backed up onto traditional hard drives just for safer.
Yeah.
Just because they're safer here at home, but these are much safer when traveling and 10 times faster when backing up footage.
Yeah.
I remember when I was shooting Frenemies with Donut Media, we'd be up till 3 a.m. the night before our flight to get all the footage backed up. So those days are over finally.
Yes, finally. Yeah. HDDs, man. Ugh.
They were the pain of everything I've done for the last 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
So I saw on your Facebook that you were doing some pictures for Hoonigan. Was that just you just taking photos as like a thing at the burn yard, or were you just out
Was
there?
that Saudi Arabia or was that Hoonigan or at in California?
It was in California.
Okay, that was after FD Irwindale 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago or last year? I don't remember. One of the years. A good friend of mine, Tyler Capper, who worked for NRG at the time, he now shoots for Larry Chen. I just went out and hung out with him and the NRG guys after FD, stayed at his place, and we ended up going to the burn yard because he knew those guys, and just shot photos for fun for the day. And then went out and checked out the mountains. I did every like non-touristy LA thing. I've never been to LA like 5 or 6 times. I've never seen any like normal touristy thing.
Right. You've
Yeah.
never been to
But
Venice
I've
Beach.
no,
Yeah.
never anything of that. Never been to Hollywood, anything. But I've seen like the mountain toge roads. I've
How are
done
those
all the car
mountains?
stuff.
Like, are they look like they're a lot of fun. Are the roads like
Oh,
well kept? and everything,
after
too?
yeah. So after that would have been 2 years ago. That was wow. I'm all over the place. That was after Irwindale last year, or Long Beach last year.
Okay.
Then after Irwindale last year, I went with Odie back to his house, and was filming some fuel suspension stuff at his house.
Nice.
And I was staying at the fuel suspension factory place.
Mm-hmm.
And his S14 was there, which is just a KA car, a nice suspension. And I was able to take it out one night up on Angeles Crest,
Ah,
which
nice.
is like the best mountain road I've ever been on in my life. It's like all the mountain roads around here,
Mhm.
but just miles of it with no traffic. It was incredible. Like right at sunset. Like
That's-
Odie called me, is like, dude, did you wreck? I was like, no, I'm just like having the dream of my life out here, just like cruising these roads. Like I wasn't even flying. I was just like so happy and content, just like cruising and just seeing everything and
just
enjoying
happy
the
to
roads.
have an S chassis that's running correctly with you driving.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
made me want a KA for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Ain't nothing wrong with a KA. They're so much fun. They're slow,
Isn't-
but they're fun.
yeah, I mean, I feel like I've driven more events in the last 2 or 3 years in a KA because my friend Justin Schrock has a KA
Yeah.
car that I would just steal every time mine wasn't running. So I drove 2 events in that,
Yep.
and you
And
just
drove the crap
foot
out
down.
of it, like
Yeah,
the whole time.
Clutch kicks and floor it.
yeah, you just
Yeah.
never lift. It was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes you
Yeah.
feel like a real driver when you're literally floored and then you just clutch kick for a little bit more power.
Yeah,
Keep it sideways. Yeah.
Taking the widest line you can. So you
yeah.
keep momentum up.
And it was so sad. Like it felt so fun in the car, and then I'd get out and like see videos, and I'm like, wow, I'm
That
like,
looks
I
so
have
lame.
no
It's 'cause you have-
angle.
You
There's no
drive so
smoke.
hard.
I'm
Yeah.
like straightening up to catch up to other people.
Yeah.
But in the car, it was like the funnest experience
Yeah, it's
ever.
because
Yeah.
you're driving it to its limit, man.
Yeah.
That's what's fun is when you can drive a
So-
car to its limit.
And with the tires at like 80 psi and like 215s,
Yep.
cranking
Yeah.
it.
Roll back into the pits, spray them down.
Yeah.
Back out.
Right.
So are
Uh,
you going to be at Hyperfest this year?
Yeah. Yep. We'll
Because
all
I know
be
it's
there.
in August. Because I guess I'll see you then. Because I'm going to go. I'm sure.
Okay,
Adam probably go
awesome.
Last minute.
You guys
Maybe
driving?
last minute, but it would. I've been to VIR a lot in the summer when it's hot as crap.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Ugh,
sucks.
So hot, yo.
It's so. Well, it's not that it's always so humid.
And
That's
Yeah.
the worst.
there's
Were y'all
very-
there for Rainfest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years ago was
It-
Rainfest.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like the funnest media event because I was hired to shoot that with Elliot Golden and Ryan Frankfurt,
Yeah.
two good friends of mine.
Mhm.
And
We
it would
saw
start
Elliot-
pouring, and we couldn't shoot, so we would just take the golf carts out and would drift them in the fields, hit giant mud puddles. We set up this drift course like out behind the go-kart track in
That's
the golf
awesome.
carts. Like we had so much fun that event. Ryan
Yeah.
ended up like swimming in like a retainer pond. Like,
Oh my gosh. Ed and I went out to why can't I remember it? Wisconsin
Final bout.
final bout, and we
Yeah,
saw
went to
Elliot out there.
yeah,
Shawano?
Dude,
I
yeah,
never
Shawano.
I never remember how to
Shawano.
say it.
But I don't know, dude.
USA.
If you ever get a chance, if you haven't already,
have you been there?
have you been to
I
final
haven't.
bout?
I was trying to go with Elliot. It just didn't work out.
US Air is so cool, dude. Like,
It's
oh my
insane.
gosh.
The elevation changes look cool on camera, but in person, it's literally a roller coaster. It's so
Okay.
insane.
Yeah, it's so good.
It makes you literally just be like, I want to drive this track. You know
So
what I
good.
mean? Like the
Yeah.
whole time you're there, it's just jealousy. And the cars are so cool and clean, you know?
When we get our cars done, we got to train up there for an event because I've always
Oh
wanted
my
to drive that
gosh.
track since I saw the first photos.
Yes, I
So
am
down.
down. I want to do that. We'll catch a Club FR 2-day weekend. We'll go up there and drive for
Yeah.
2 days.
I'm all
14
in.
hours.
I'm thinking I'm gonna have my car shipped.
Oof, that's a thing. I guess
Yeah.
it is.
Dude,
Yeah.
so
Does it make sense, like money wise? Really?
I mean, well, it'd be like
when I thi-
$300 up there, right?
I don't
That's
know
not
how-
bad.
I haven't figured out how much it would cost. Like, I mean, you could drive it, and it would probably drive your car, and it would probably be. I mean, it's 15 hours, so I mean, it would probably be $300 to get there and back in my 240 approximately. I get around
Gas.
20 miles.
Well, you would want to trailer it, in my
Right, so-
opinion.
so
you know, so
then-
you got that's
then
even
I'm using the
more.
Armada, and I'm getting 8 miles to the gallon.
Yep.
So then I'm up to probably $500 or $600 in gas, and if it only costs $800 for a round trip, and I
Yeah.
don't have to trailer it, I can take my Corolla and just me the whole way there.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the thing, you wouldn't want to just have a single trailer, like pay somebody to take a single trailer.
Mhm.
You want to go with some buddies, so
Yeah, you
I
could
bet.
all split the
get
split
3
the
or
ship.
4 car trailer, raise them to the moon so you can get on and off of it easily.
Yep.
Pack them full of tires and go have fun.
I think that's what the guys at Auto Factory Realized did.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is what a lot of people did.
Yeah,
Okay.
because a lot of those guys are like from out west. There's a lot of guys there from like Chicago that's like a couple hours away. That that's just their home track. But like all the guys from out west, like that's what they did.
Yeah.
But-
Gold Star Dom, he drove his Z32 all the way from NorCal.
And that
Wow.
thing is low,
Yeah.
so low, and he
Yeah.
drove it like that all the way out
Yeah.
there.
And
So
That's
sick.
the most. He outdid Mike Perez, I think.
Yeah. I would say
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Because I like Mike Perez's Supra, but it's not low like that Z32.
Nah.
and
And
that's
that car's just rowdy and fun. I mean,
Yeah.
the horsepower is the scary part of that, not how low it is, and
Yeah.
Right.
That
That car's
ease off
cool.
the throttle a little bit.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, Mike Perez doesn't know what that is. But,
No.
you
He's
know.
never heard of
That's
never-
why we end up
No.
running over cars,
Uh,
Oh man. All right, so I gotta ask, who's more fun, Chelsea or Vaughn?
Oh, you're gonna see.
See, I'm calling you out on this because see, I'll give you my idea because I don't know them. You know what I mean? I've never met
Yeah.
them, but I feel like Vaughn and Chelsea are both very professional people. Like just the way they carry themselves and how they understand their cars and how they are with their marketing. They're very smart, very intelligent, professional people. I feel like Vaughn is definitely a little more careless.
It's kind of hard to say because Vaughn always has so much responsibility on his back.
Yeah.
He's not just a driver at all.
Yeah.
I mean, on anything, he's usually producing the videos. He's usually doing a million other things other than just driving. So he doesn't have the time to like do as much.
Yeah.
Whereas Chelsea, he definitely still has a lot of responsibility, but he also has a lot more time have you seen him jump stuff?
No.
He's ridiculous jumping stuff. He's jumped like rental cars like hundreds of feet. Like he's sunk them in
What?
water. Like every time I'm with him, I hear another rental car story. It's ridiculous.
rental car story is the best.
Yeah, like he's always doing something dumb in a rental car. There's a new video that'll be coming out where he jumps a trophy truck and he lived up to his name. But
man.
Lauren Haley should also be in that mix because he is a madman behind the wheel of anything off-road. I mean, I am so excited for everybody to see what we shot in Moab. I mean,
Yeah.
he nearly flipped the new Ranger like 3 times.
Oh my
Jumped
god.
it more than I ever thought was possible to jump anything. Just a madman. But then Vaughn was also just raging and everything. It's a hard one. I feel like Chelsea might be a little up there, but they all have their spots. Because
Yeah.
you saw Vaughn behind the wheel of his Fox body at his house.
Yeah.
That was just like the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I
He was
think
trying
that
to do
video is on your
donuts.
Facebook, right?
It might be.
Let me
It's
find
definitely
it.
on Vaughn's Instagram or his Facebook.
I think you posted it
Um,
on your Facebook. Let me see if it's up there.
But Vaughn was trying to do donuts inside his carport, and there was no way he could ever do it, but he was sure he could. And he just kept hitting the fence just over and over again. He's like, I can do it. And I was like, no, there's no way. And he just kept going. He like bent his fence up, bashed a taillight. But
Somebody's tagging
Fox
you in
body.
1,000 Red Bulls on your Facebook.
Yep. It's
Yeah,
definitely
here it
on
is.
Vaughn's. Okay.
Let me full screen it and then I'll share the video. You can't. I don't think audio is working, but
You should pause it.
yeah. I'll just back it up. All right, so no audio, but can I make it full
Yeah,
screen?
this was such a fun shoot. I drove up to Maryland for the day to film a few projects, and this is one of them.
The old Drift Alliance, man.
Yeah, I was always trying to sneak those in there. That was before my time, but I knew enough about it to make me excited.
Right.
But just the video doesn't really do justice of how tight all this is.
Oh,
I mean,
dude,
I showed
you
up
can
and I was
tell
like,
it's
there's no
tight.
way this is real. But yeah, he
You
made it
can tell it's
happen.
super tight. That's a cool shot.
Yeah, Gunner was always down. He's the coolest kid. He's always pressing the horn in the Raptor, always trying to do something. Had Cody up on the roof getting shots. It was a good one. Small crew just making it happen. That car is just wild. And he doesn't do anything to it. Like there was a previous shoot for K&N that they hit a cake in slow motion. The cake was still on the wheels and tires and on the fender of the car. Like he literally just pulled it out of the garage, fired her up, and sent it. Like, it was great.
It's awesome.
Oh man.
Well, it's a Fox body. It's kind of what it's meant to do. Just pull it out,
Exactly.
beat on it.
I mean, he rallies that thing. We've been trying to take it back. He has a quarry right behind his house. We're trying to shoot a video of him just jumping it and drifting it and rallying it in the quarry. So
Yeah.
we'll see. There will definitely be more fun content to come with that.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my favorite cars that he has.
Sick.
But there's a lot.
Speaking of
Good.
cars, what is your car? What's up with your
Literally took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That was the thought I had.
Because I want to know, because ever since I've known you, you've always had issues with SRs or an issue with a wiring harness that you bought or an ECU or a turbo or a head gasket. It's literally been like, if an SR can have a problem,
You've had them all.
you've had it.
I think it comes down to number one, I've had terrible luck. Number two, I'm a terrible mechanic and I have no mechanical sympathy.
And I guess you
coming
normally,
from simulators, you don't have mechanical sympathy.
no.
So when you go from sim car to real car, the only thing you feel different is like more adrenaline. So you just keep pressing the throttle harder.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it, and that's most of the reason I probably blew up my last motor. I had a custom intercooler on it, and I didn't realize how thin it was. One guy had warned me, but my tuner thought it was fine. Turns out hot lapping on Team Vibes, which is like the hottest day of my life, isn't a good idea. So had detonation and blew up that motor. So that was my third SR. Full standalone, new turbo, injectors. Like I was so stoked on it.
Doing it.
Finally got away from mass airflow problems. It was matte. Like I was stoked. Motor's gone. So if anybody wants a blown up or a S14 SR bottom end that has detonation, come take it off my hands because I need rid of it. But Dan
Ed's like,
Savage,
I got you.
Yeah, please take it.
Are you
It's
gonna
been
put it on the
taking up
lot?
too much room for a while. But Dan Savage randomly invited me out beginning of last year to drive his car to US Drift event.
Mhm.
He was crewing for Austin Meeks and trying to help him set up his FD car. and Brian Eggert needed somebody to give ride-alongs. So I drove up to Richmond and drove his VQ car for the day. And that car was just bulletproof. You'd get in, drive, you wouldn't look at coolant temp, you wouldn't look at oil pressure. He had no gauges, like literally nothing. You would do a few laps and come back in and be like, Dan, you need to check this thing out. Like, do I need to check anything? They like pull up the temps and like, it's still like cool. Like it's barely even up to temperature after you've cooled it down after that lap. Like, all right. So I just kept running, swapping tires, running through the whole day. And then, I forgot Chris Katrupi let me drive his car after that, with his Pro 2 car.
Yo, how was that?
Man.
I was terrified. Like I got in the car, I couldn't reach the pedals. So I went and got like seat cushions and like propped myself up so I could reach everything. Get in the car, try to back it out of the pits. And I couldn't even, like, my arms weren't long enough to put it in reverse. So he had to come over and put the car in reverse from the passenger seat. And he refused to get in with me because he was terrified.
Right.
So I went out first lap, slow handbrake initiation, get settled on the throttle, like way more comfortable than I thought it would be because it's supercharged LS, like super linear power. Cruising through the turn, transition, and felt like the back right wheel fell off. And I was terrified. So I like limped it off the track. Like, no, I just like destroyed his pro car. Get out, like start looking around, and the back right is completely tucked up in the fender. And he came out and we drug it off the track, and his lower control arm, camber arm, one of the arms in the rear failed. It wasn't me, it was just like a cheap part or that had years on it, failed.
Oh man.
So I was like, there goes my opportunity to drive a fun car. Never gonna happen again. But he ended up fixing it later in the day, and I got to do a full lap in it, which was a dream come true.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember up at a Drift Valley event, like one of the first ones I went to, because I would go to like the events down at VIR back in the day before I drifted at all, just watch. And I remember going up to Shenandoah and watching, and I got a ride with Katrupi when he was still KAT. And in between him and the other guy I got a ride with that day, like I was hooked. I was like,
Yeah.
I got to get a drift car. I don't know if I want to drift my car, but I got to get a drift car. Like it was so much fun.
Yeah. Man, like I've ridden with him for so many laps at Panthera and Shenandoah Summit. Like he's so consistent and so fun to ride with. And he's like such a chill, like nice guy, like doesn't act like anything. So that was like one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in drifting, is being thrown the keys to that thing. So yeah,
Awesome.
but after driving Dan's car, I knew I had to go VQ. There was no choice. Been talking to him on and off, and I was actually on my flight. Like I was 5 minutes from boarding my flight to SEMA. Get a text from Dylan Wiley, tagged me in a post. A guy was selling a full VQ swap for like $1,500. And I was like,
wow,
I'm not passing this up. I have to buy this. I instantly message him and say, 100% I'll buy this. I'll put a down payment right now. And I text Dan, and I was like, do whatever you got to do. Buy this motor for me. I'll PayPal you when I land in Las Vegas. So I get in the air, land, and Dan, I get a text. Yeah, I was like, please, like, I better not have missed this. I get a text from Dan, and he's like, PayPal me $300. You got the motor.
nice.
So I wasn't able to pick it up for months after that because I was super busy, and I would have to drive to Pennsylvania to pick it up. But picked it up, and it was pretty much everything. Perfect swap, but turns out I'm too busy to work on it, sadly. And I hate working on cars now. I've just had too many problems to work on cars anymore. Like I cannot get myself to touch that thing.
I kind of understand.
So I kept pushing it off all winter. Like, oh, I'll work on it next month. I'll have it done by the season. It never happened. And then I ended up getting the job with Vaughn and them, and turns out no free time during the winter with them because they're always doing something. So 1st of February, I had King of the Hammers, and that led into the Pennzoil 400, on and on. And I decided for this trip, I would just pay a friend to start working on it for me. So Alex Karoluk, a good friend of mine and a wizard of a mechanic, he's the one that solved my SR issues and the one that got that running right. I mean, he would text me at 12 o'clock, just like, hey, have we tried this yet? Like, he wouldn't sleep over the problems. Like, he was so dedicated. And he was the master for doing that. So when it came time to getting this swap done, I hit him up and he's going to start working on it. He got the motor worked on a little bit while I was gone. And I'm waiting on the rest of the swap kit parts to come in from Hexa Garage. So I had a
Nice.
big order from them, got a wiring harness and all their swap parts. So
Awesome.
that should be done hopefully soon. We got a few more pieces to make, but yeah.
That's so sick.
I was
And
hoping to do a lot more to do tubs and everything, but I'm just like
Yeah.
too burnt out on cars right now and too busy with other projects. I've really gotten into guns recently, so that's taken all my time and money. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that.
All I have
I'm
to
drive.
do is
Go
all I
ahead.
have to do with my car is tube the front end.
That's all.
It's really not that much, but I just need to start it and like
Is the motor in it?
no, the motor's literally sitting ready to go, wiring harness,
Okay.
everything. It's literally here sitting in the back. I have all the tube, the plating material and everything to do my car. I literally just after working on cars all day here, it's like
It's hard to work on
Yeah.
your car
It
after you
is.
work on cars all day.
I believe
feel like
that. Yeah.
the only way I'm gonna be able to do it is if I like force myself to come in on a weekend, you know.
Yep.
That's the only way it's gonna get done. Cause like, yeah,
Yep,
Well,
you
like-
just gotta do it, Dan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Get
gotta-
after it, man. Stop
Yep.
slacking.
Hey, listen.
No, like I used to be so productive on my car because me and my friend Justin would get home from school for like 2 years every like school year.
I was the
We
same.
would get home from school, he'd go to work, I'd go to work. Right after that, as soon as we got off like 5 or 6, we'd come to my shop and would work till like 2 a.m. every night. We would
Yep.
never sleep for like an entire winter. It was
Yep.
all we did. I didn't
It's
have
so
a
fun.
social life. It was just like work on cars.
Yep.
You know, I did so much during that time of building my car, building his car, building Cesar Diaz's car, like helping them all on that, and learned a ton. But I've kind of forgotten it all and have no motivation anymore.
Right.
So it's a sad story, but hopefully I'll get it back because on the in 6 days I'm driving an event. Chris Katrupi and Jay Whitaker and the guys from Raleigh in that area
Mhm.
hit me up about a private event at Piedmont.
Oh, cool.
And he texted me and I was like, dude, my car's not gonna run. Just like stop bugging me. I'm sick of being asked to drive events. I want to drive.
Yeah.
But I started thinking, and Vaughn has a company drift car pretty much.
Oh my
It's something
god.
he's been talking about doing for a while.
Mhm.
And one of our mechanics has done a few events in it. S197, I think, 400 horsepower, hydro, angle kit, BCs, etc.
Right.
But the deal is pretty much you work for the company. It's a perk, you know. It's supposed to be a
That's
fun
so sick.
company. You have a fun car to drive. So on the 8th, I'll be driving down to Piedmont. Jason's bringing up the car. I'm splitting it with him. So I get some seat time in a big old heavy fun Mustang.
Yeah,
Dude, that's
So,
gonna be so sick.
that'll be great.
Yeah, good change.
I've never been to Piedmont. I've always been freaked out about the parking lot because I see some of those cars and like the transition looks rough.
Yeah, I've never been either. I just couldn't say no to a fun event. So
No,
Yeah.
no,
There we
you have to
go.
go do that.
yeah, especially in another car. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love driving other cars. I used to terrify me, but now anytime I get the chance, like, yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that you went VQ because I was actually before, Chris decided to sell me this SR, I was like trying to figure out what swap I wanted to do. And I like very seriously considered doing a VQ swap, but then I like started looking at all the parts I would need from Hexa Garage. And I was like, yeah, this would be real expensive.
It is and it isn't because I'm gonna be all in. I think around $3,000.
Granted, you got a big, Ed's mic fell again. You got a pretty good deal on,
I did.
a lot up front,
Yep.
and then so
But
yeah,
good.
no, so I was like going to do that, but then I was like, well, I kind of, VQs are, and I think that was about the same time that we were doing we put a supercharger on a VQ, or well, not a VQ. It's technically a VQ,
VR.
a VR, but no,
No?
V8, no.
I don't know.
It's a VQ, but it's from a
370.
370. I don't know.
Oh, BQ35 HR,
BQ37. Yeah.
BQ37. Yeah.
Yeah. So like we were in the middle of that, and I was like, man, this looks like a lot to learn. You know, like if it's going to be my car, and I'm going to have to fix stuff. But then I was like, but I also see all these guys out here in Z's that literally just like throw an oil cooler on their car and they beat the living crap out of it. And I was like, that's the kind of reliability I want. And that's why I went LS with my last car. But then I was like, let me just research some other stuff. And then I found like the beam swap, you know, and I only know of one other person that's done it anywhere near us, you know, and there's really no information on it, but it looked pretty simple. I mean, it's like a 215 horsepower, naturally aspirated inline four. You can get motor and trans ECU like for $1,500 off, like shipped off eBay, you know? So I was like, man, that might be a really good option. And I was like, the only thing I'd have to really do is like figure out the wiring, mount up a radiator, make some mounts, you know, like, and do an exhaust, you know, those were the only things I would have to figure out. And I was like, that's pretty simple. So I was going to do that. And then Chris ended up selling me this SR at a pretty good deal. So I couldn't pass that up.
Yeah.
A really good deal. So I guess perk of the job maybe, but, but yeah, so I'm going back SR. So I posted on my Instagram, I'm going SR, guys, pray for me. You know,
it's true. Man, I loved SR. Like it's such a fun motor to drive. I love how they sound.
Yeah.
But I was just having too many issues, and I was looking into 350Zs, but I was like, I'm never gonna be happy with the 350Z.
Yeah.
Like
they're
I don't know,
ugly.
it's something about how they look.
Yeah.
That I just can't fall in love with it.
Yeah.
There's a few that look great, but like seeing Corey in his orange Z just would drive forever with no issues.
Such a great car.
It was so smooth and consistent, but I just would never be happy with how it looks. I kind of like Adam LZ's black one.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to put that much money into over fenders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that gets me about Z's is the interior. I just feel like the door panels are just these big plastic blobs.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's very cheap. Like it doesn't seem solid to me. Like I feel like an S14's interior is way more solid than a 350Z interior.
Yeah, I agree. And like, you know, hearing that Ryan Literal was going to be debuting a 350Z, I was excited for that. Yeah. And then that came out and I was like, no, it's not quite, like, it's not it. So I decided to, like, 350Z was out of the picture for now. And I was looking into LSs and everything, but just getting a motor for $1,500 and another $1,500 in swap parts. I mean, all I've got to buy is a radiator, because if I had a KA rad, I would be able to just drop that right in, but I have an SR radiator. So I need to buy a radiator and a starter. And I'm pretty much, I think that's it.
Nice.
So I'm real ready. Real excited.
Trying to think if I had a KA Koyo laying around, but I don't think I do.
Yeah, I definitely want a dual pass. I'm sick of coolant issues, so I'm not cheaping out on a radiator.
Are you going to try to rig up a mechanical fan and a shroud?
No, I've got good fans. Good. I've got good fans, so that wasn't the issue. So we'll see. It was just a cheap eBay radiator because I was cheaping out on everything like an idiot.
Yeah. Well, if you buy nice parts once, thankfully you generally only have to buy them once, unless you smash them into a wall or
that's true.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
I just got a fresh painted Type X kit. That ain't gonna happen.
Is it still like the maroon or red or what is it? Red?
Yeah, Hellrot red. Yep.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I like it, but I kind of want to switch it up one of these days. Kind of want a dark red. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Red, man.
I hate paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I could have one thing I could learn in cars, it would be how to paint.
It's just practice, man. You just need to paint a couple cars, you'll have it. It's simple.
Yeah, just paint a couple cars. Yeah. Just let me,
just paint a few.
Just spend like half my life just sanding.
Yep.
No appeal. Sorry.
No, I keep thinking I need to do something with my M45 because I have a lip kit for it. The paint's not great, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I've been thinking about wrapping it the last couple of days, but I actually went out and looked at the car with the intentions of wrapping it today, and I was like, I don't know how this is actually going to go. So I have to do something.
Well, the good part about wraps, you can just rip it off. You waste materials and a little bit of time, but
Yeah.
it's true.
But wrap stuff is expensive now too. I mean, you're talking
okay.
like
For a 50-foot roll of Avery in the gloss red, it's $489 or $464.
Okay.
and you can buy paint for that.
Yeah.
Maybe not red.
Not red, but I'm saying you can buy paint. Like
Yeah, but then I don't know. It's just it's so much. And the worst bit is my windshield's cracked, and I have a little bit of rust around the top of the windshield, so I need to like do body work. So the car will
Yeah.
definitely be down for a certain amount of time. And then if I'm doing body work on the roof, there's no real good place to blend it, so you have to paint the whole quarter.
Yeah.
And the quarters definitely need work. It's just a huge rabbit trail.
It's all or nothing.
It's all or nothing.
that's
I'm
cars
yeah.
though.
just
They're
gonna-
all rabbit trails.
Yeah.
just gonna put a $5,000 paint job on it. Never get my money back out of the car, but it'll look great.
Yeah. I've given up on that in my car like so
Oh,
long
yeah.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when you have a car and you're committed to that car, like
Yeah.
you know you're never gonna get your money back out
Yep.
of it. Like my green 240, man, never gonna get my money back out of it. People are like, hey, you sell me that thing? I'm like, yeah, I would. How much you want for it? 25 grand. What? You're crazy. What engines it have in it? It's nothing special, but that's what it would take. I would have to be able to buy a nice S15. That's
Yeah.
that would replace my car that I've had for 15 years is a really nice S15, which
Yeah.
is,
And my car's got some rust in spots. And
man, it's an S13. They came rusty.
I know, but I'm like,
Mine's not at all though.
It's true.
it's just like I wish I could restore it because I got it when I was 14. I would love to have the car for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I feel like unless I do like major fabrication work to clean up all the rust, because I know it's just gonna keep spreading.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to do something with that.
Just take it all the way apart, done to nothing, put it on a rotisserie, soda blast the whole
Yeah.
bottom, cut out any rot, weld the panels back in.
Yeah.
It's fine, man.
So I figured I might as well just drive it as a drift car and abuse it and not even think about it because it's already rusted. When I destroy it, I just buy a clean shell, swap the expensive parts over. I'm good.
Yeah, that's a good strategy.
I'm not gonna try to destroy it, but if it
Right.
happens, I'm not gonna cry about it.
I think I'm gonna be one of those people that just like if like Japanese drifters cars, they have the same chassis for 20 years and they just cut other pieces of cars onto it.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like unless my S13 is like ridiculously destroyed, I feel like I'm just gonna keep doing that just because of, like I said, I've had it for 15 years.
Is it rust free?
Mostly.
Okay.
There's some surface rust from a leaky brake master cylinder because
Yeah.
I put 3 on it and they all freaking leak because
Hmm.
it doesn't matter. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I ran over a curb in a parking lot one time, crushed the unibody rail over a little bit. There's
Yeah.
that needs attention. And
Sounds
then
good. Will cover it.
yeah, and you don't ever see it unless it's on the lift.
Yeah.
And then there's one little spot that's like this big, right? Here's the wheel well, and it's right there. Just it's super.
That's-
tiny.
I've got like a larger spot there, which I tried to replace and it didn't go well.
Right.
There was just more surface rust. I would have had to cut out so much, so I fixed a patch of it. Frame rails, I had the covers welded in just when I got the car. And there was a hole in the floorboard that I patched. So,
She
it's not a perfect car, which makes me really sad, but it makes me not feel as bad abusing it now.
right. Yeah.
I got really lucky with this shell that I got. It's like it was hit on the front end. That's why I'm tubing the front end. So the core support and everything was like destroyed.
And I honestly believe the only rust on this entire chassis was around the battery, and that's the corner
Yeah.
it got hit on, and it just
Wow.
broke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, that's why it got damaged as bad as it did.
But like
Yeah.
the pinch welds, the entire underside of the car is like,
It's minty,
dude, it's
I
unbelievable.
could just look at that for hours. you
Dude,
know?
it's pretty insane. It's like we had this white Sylvia come in that actually it's all cut up now because it's going Pandem V3, which is like,
Okay.
if you haven't seen the Pandem V3, it's
It's
like
good.
it's the best looking Pandem kit on like a Sylvia or S chassis, hands down. And I'm so excited that like we're
I'm
putting
just
it on.
gonna
but-
wait to see the car. I'm not even gonna search
Yeah,
anything. I'm
dude.
just gonna wait
Um,
to see the reveal.
But there's another video on that for the build series coming out where we actually cut the quarters and but you see like kind of some beauties of it before paint, like all mocked up and everything, and it's
Oh, we got the okay on paint colors today. The final.
Oh, thank God. So it's going to get painted real soon.
Yes.
Leak it. What's it gonna
Yeah.
be?
No, I
um,
can't.
Well, the paint colors on this new episode, well, not the color, but like at least what it is going to be in the newest episode.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, cool.
but it's going to be really rad. It's going to be really cool. But this car, like, talk about rust free and just gorgeous, and literally everything is perfect and like factory. Like, that's how this car was, and it had like an Origin stylish kit that fit perfect and was like not too aggressive, like when we got it.
Mhm.
It had like super rare S14 kooky factory option Sylvia seats that I've only ever seen one other set of ever.
Okay.
Like so like it was just like perfectly tastefully modified, like unmolested, minus having a kit on it and like coilovers and an exhaust, like just perfect
It was your
car.
basic bolt-on Japanese car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's
like
awesome.
in unbelievable
Yeah,
condition,
just
like
minty.
interior perfect, all the plastics, everything worked. I did a review video on that car, and it's like one of those things when you're driving something that just doesn't feel right because it's
Yeah.
so nice. Like that's how it was driving this S chassis, because like I've like S chassis, like there's some really nice ones out there, but like when you see it and like drive it the way it's supposed to feel,
Yeah.
like from the
You just know.
factory, like
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's all cut up. Dan cut out the fenders.
Yeah, I
and,
cut out the quarters and cut off the fenders, and
Yeah, welded it all back up. It's done really well.
yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's gonna be great. And the guy that we're building it for he's expecting perfection. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Like
That's cool.
really nice.
we're actually doing well, we can tell them we're doing we couldn't go low enough in the rear. We maxed out the rear coilovers that were on it, which
Okay.
rode really good, but they're like
they're
old
KTSs.
older KTSs, so they don't go as low as like some of the newer modern coilovers do. So he was like, well, let me just he hit up Fortune Auto, and they like did a sponsorship for him, so he's doing new Fortune Autos with air cups on the front too.
Oh, nice.
So it's gonna be
good.
pretty cool.
I'm so excited to see that.
Yeah, me too.
That's like it's
awesome.
a major build.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That's just sick that that's being built like here in Virginia.
dude,
I
you need to, like, if you ever get a minute, like on your way down through, like you got to stop in and like see what's going on here, because you'll be in like, holy crap, what?
Yeah, because I haven't been there since there was the vape store meet.
And that, oh yeah, at the shop, you
years
drove your car
ago.
down. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was back when I had the shop.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the last time I was in there. I've driven by it a few times, but it was always closed when I drove by.
Of course.
But
Yeah,
this year, I'm sure we'll be going back to VAR a few times.
yeah. You ought to bring the guys up here. We have a dyno. Get them to do some pulls.
If they want some free
Yeah.
dyno time, we can make that happen too.
All right.
Yeah,
See if
for
I
real.
can arrange something.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. We've got everything here now. It's like we've got, so you probably haven't been here since we added the other building. We have a whole other building now.
Oh,
too.
I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, so we have a whole other building. That's where the dyno is, and so we've got like the main shop, which our showroom, and our main shop is in the back half of it with 3 lifts. But we're getting ready to add another lift, I guess, in the back with another rack, like a 4-post lift as well.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I got them to price both. We're gonna see
Yeah.
what our options are, because we would like alignment machine at some
Yeah.
point in the future.
Yeah.
So we've got the dyno back there and like a couple of shelves, which we're adding another rack. Like it's absurd. We've already outgrown that building.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
It's
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
We literally it takes like 3 people. We're like, all right, guys, we got to push a car out. Like, come on, we got to move a bunch of stuff. Like we've got probably 20 cars, probably 15 cars back there.
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like literally full. Like
Whether it be cars that are for sale currently, there isn't enough room in the showroom, or it's
customer builds.
a customer build that has the engine up at the machine shop, or
Yeah.
What else do we have back there?
Chris's drift car that'll never get done.
Yeah.
Now that I bought the motor, though, he needs to buy his motor and trans because he's doing 1J. and I told him I'll help him build it if he sells me the cracked BN kit off of that car. So, or like gives it to me as far as
Yeah.
like, piecemeal for working on his car.
Yeah.
But no, it's pretty insane like what's going on here, man. I'd love for you to come hang out, and we've got drift sims upstairs too. So
He's driven.
Oh,
have you?
yeah, I did. Yeah, I forgot about
Okay.
that. Y'all were just setting up the 3 monitor setup, if I remember right.
We have 3 sims now with
Oh.
3
Dude, that's like that's got to be so much fun, just everybody jamming at once.
Yeah. 5
Yeah.
o'clock,
That's
go
sick.
upstairs, just freaking bang doors for a few hours. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I need to come experience that. I'd love to check out the shop.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you should. It's a good time.
How long
So-
have y'all been operating?
So
When did y'all start?
like we've been in this building for almost 4 years. Chris was
Okay.
like I was the first hire on, but
Mhm.
Chris had been doing it for a year and a half or 2 years. And then when he hired me on, we had like 3 cars at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started doing that, and then whenever we didn't have a car, I would, paint a wall or put up a piece of trim or
Yeah.
wash the sidewalks, just do stuff to make the place look nice.
hmm
But yeah, then it's just been a trickle of hiring new people ever since.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We have a lot of work. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we just hired another guy, and we hired another guy that hasn't started yet, right?
I think he's yeah, I think he's supposed to start next week. Like,
We haven't even introduced like all of our like to our media family, like that we've hired a new guy. He's been here for like 3 weeks or a month now.
no, he was in the vlog the other day.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay, so but did we introduce him in
Yeah.
the vlog?
Tevin was like, "Hey, this is Corey."
Oh.
He was like, "Hey."
But yeah, it's wild, man. We're growing bigger than we can keep up with, and we're busting as much as possible.
Yeah. We're
That's awesome because it's such a hard industry.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And we were kind of worried with like the coronavirus, like how that would affect, and actually it's like somehow gotten busier. I guess people
Yeah,
are
it hasn't slowed at all. The only thing that has really slowed
is shipping for parts.
shipping for parts, and then having
Okay, yeah.
other businesses
Yeah.
who are
Yeah.
having issues. But
Mhm.
we're slammed.
That's awesome. That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the quality of work you are doing seems incredible. I love all the video
Thank you.
content you are doing. So
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to show that we do great work.
Yeah.
Like, everyone takes pride in everything they do here.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, and all of us hold each other accountable when we mess stuff up or don't do something
Yeah.
quite right. Like, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but anyways,
When I don't close Ed's box, Dan.
you left the drawer open again. Lock that thing up.
Always. I lost my 10 mil.
Yeah.
Dude, surprisingly,
10 mils
knock
has been
on
holding
wood,
on
we
pretty good.
like I don't think we've lost a 10 mil in months.
Yeah, we don't really
Wow.
lose tools.
We don't lose tools.
I know I lost my green magnetic flashlight, but that's stuck to the bottom of a car somewhere, I'm sure.
I mean, that's just why y'all's business is doing so well. If you don't lose 10 mils, you're doing something right. Like,
Not wrong.
that's a high benchmark right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We lost a 10 mil in Moab, but it turns
Oh.
out if you jump a truck with a toolbox in the back, like 40 feet off the ground, you may lose some tools. So yeah,
Imagine
10
that.
mil down. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
That'll be
my
a fun
gosh.
video.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that. It'll be
So
good.
how can people like keep track of like what you're doing? Where's the best way to like follow you?
Instagram stories. Rhaner
Okay.
Media Works, RHANER. Yeah, it's pretty much where I post everything. Anything that I can post, which should be a good bit coming up as we start traveling again.
Yeah.
Sick.
So I'm ready to get out of this lull of events and get back into, more public stuff.
Some fun stuff.
I
where
miss
get to
seeing you
see
guys.
people. I know,
Right.
dude. Well, I haven't been to a local event in forever, neither of you, and nobody has here in the last year really. So it's
Well, in the last 6
Yeah.
months.
last 6 months for sure. But then the winters, there's not much going on.
Spirit has events during the
Yeah,
winter.
Spirit does, but
Mhm.
it's weird. And you're crazy busy and you're out of town and flying and shoots and it's wild.
Driving company drift cars.
Driving company drift cars.
To be fair, I have also driven a company drift
Yeah,
car.
that's
Yeah,
true.
see,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
it's just a perk of being in a fun industry.
No, I feel like driving a company drift car is like, you're having fun because you're drifting,
Yeah,
but like the back little bit in your head is like, this isn't mine. I can't drive it as hard as I normally would. Like,
yeah, you can never fully relax.
no.
That's
You
that's
know.
how it is with me when I drive my car to events, because I'm like, I
Yeah,
have
it's
to
the
drive
same
it
thing.
home.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, at least I know this car is bulletproof, maintained by professional mechanics and not me. So there's like more like peace of mind there.
that is a perk.
Well,
Definitely.
no, the same mentality from that you were talking about earlier, going from sim to real life, you're gonna have even less mechanical sympathy because you're like, I didn't build it, so I know it's.
That's right. And it's not an SR, it's a V8.
Right.
Oh
It's got a
man.
reliable tune on it. No, I
Yeah.
can't keep telling myself this. That's dangerous talk right there.
You're just gonna go have fun.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no tandeming. No tandeming. Just solo fun.
Yeah.
If you get Chris
Yeah.
Katropi behind me or Jay Whitaker, any of those guys,
Yeah.
it's a dangerous game to play.
Yeah. Well, thankfully
They get-
you're pretty.
They get
consistent.
rowdy.
I don't know. I've tandemed with you some before. Like, and by that I
Yeah.
mean I put on a consistent lead run, and you were like all
On your
me.
door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sim, like I thought transitioning to tandem driving would be like the most terrifying thing ever. And it took Thomas Miata just like calling me out. And he was like, just dude, follow me. I'm just gonna smoke you, but just follow me. Because I was stock SR, he had the LS Miata.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just went out and first run it like clicked and like just using handbrake to adjust speed and left foot braking. I did it all without thinking. Like this isn't me being good. This is literally just like sim transferring to real life without even thinking about it.
Yeah. And if
Which
you can
is
do all
incredible.
of those things, when you can handbrake when you know you need to,
Mhm.
carry your momentum through, left foot brake. Like if you can do all of those things and know when to do them, like how to do them properly,
Yeah.
you can drift.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can whip it out there and give it some gas, but if you don't know how much gas, or if you need to clutch in or start scrubbing speed, like if you just don't know those things, you just don't know it. But
Yeah.
get some sim time in.
Yep.
Sim time translates to good seat time, generally.
I mean, the initial cost is like somewhat expensive for a simulator, but the amount of money you're gonna save in entry fees, gas, tires,
Yeah.
of wasted track days because you got to learn the fundamentals.
Yeah,
Simulator will do all that. So
totally worth it. I wish I would have done
Yeah.
it sooner.
Yeah.
it's been I love that it's finally picking up because I've been preaching it for years and
Yeah.
seeing like, Ryan Literal now driving simulator
Yeah.
and like
Well, with
all the bigger names competing and like doing big things. It's really cool to see.
with the virus and everything, it's like
What else
force
you gonna
people
do? Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like put more time in their sims, or like, okay, I need to buy this new steering wheel so I can do it, because they can't go out and drive these events, so it's like I
Yeah.
gotta have some sort of,
You got to stay sharp.
yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
what I love. I mean, even if I don't play for 2 hours after work, if I just go up and play for 15 minutes, man, it keeps you sharp. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I was surprised by how much I lost because
Oh,
I
really?
hadn't driven for a year or two and I hadn't had my sim set up for a year. So when I got my sim set up, I like jumped right back into a lobby. I was like, oh, it's go time. And I couldn't do a thing. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
It took me like a few evenings and then it like clicked back. But I was able to link a course, but my tandem driving is way off.
Yeah. I don't spend hardly enough time on sims
like at all.
at all, and I need to,
Yeah.
because like I feel like for some reason, maybe it's just because I didn't start on a sim, but like I understand the mechanics of how the car is supposed to be driven because I've done it in real life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like for me, going from real life to a sim, like you can't feel the car and you can't feel that you're about to spin out. You can't feel that weight transfer, and it's a little bit different for me. But like, it's just like you have to kind of learn the sim as well, but the same mechanics of everything transfer over. So like I can link a course, but like doing it consistently is the hardest thing for me on a sim. And I just know I need to do it more. So
Yeah, I think it's easier to go from a simulator to a real car than a real car to a simulator.
Definitely.
Because you just lose so much information going to the simulator. But I think that helps a ton with going to a real car, is you can drive without even needing to feel the car. That's just an added motion there. So I mean, I can drive on the simulator with no sound, which is so weird if you think about it, getting in a real car and not hearing the turbo or anything. Like,
Yeah.
Or
that's
just-
another like massive thing.
Yeah, just even feeling the power band, like that's huge.
Yeah. So simulators the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Well, dude, I'm not gonna keep you any longer. It's been a while since almost 2 hours. Holy crap!
Wow.
I told you, dude. I told you this stuff flies by.
Yep.
It does.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Yeah,
it's-
that was a quick 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, like I have a million other questions I could ask you, but maybe we'll just have you on again after a little bit later on, after you've got some stuff in that new thing that you super talk secret that you can't
Yeah.
talk about that's driving me insane, and I wish I knew. You know what I mean?
You won't even guess. You can't even try to guess in this one. It's out
I
there.
can't.
It's
Well,
sick.
I tried
So,
to guess, and you were like, you don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
So, I'm excited for everybody to see it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be out there. I'm excited to see what everybody thinks. So
Yeah. So maybe we'll have you on once that, because that's what, 5 or 6 months you said.
I don't even know, because this quarantine messed with all the schedule. I couldn't see it being 5 months, but
Okay.
probably 2, I would
Okay.
say.
So maybe we'll have you on in a couple months, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about that and see what's going on then.
And
Yeah.
hopefully I'll have more information about the projects we're working on. So.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm gonna have my mic stand fixed by then, so it doesn't fall over
It's
6.
been a constant struggle.
Oh, it's
Oh,
so
man.
bad.
Yeah, mine's good, man.
You got the good spot on the table. I was feeling underneath of it. I tried to move it all the way over there.
Didn't work.
No,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I mean, do y'all not have zip ties around there or something?
Well,
I feel like
this
y'all
is the
gotta
first
have zip
time.
ties.
It's the first time we've used like the whole mic setup.
Yeah.
So. Oh well, we'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
I could zip tie it.
Yeah.
Maybe some duct tape. Some what is gaff tape?
Gaff tape. Yeah, I was about to bring up gaff tape.
Yep.
Yeah. That is safe. We were driving across the country in the RV, and it was so rattly it was hard to edit. And I took gaff tape out and just taped my laptop down, my charger in the hole, every hard drive to the table, like everything
Oh my
just
gosh.
stuck down.
That's awesome.
But yeah, thanks for having me on. This was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Cool.
being here.
Yeah. So guys, go check out Preston on Instagram, Rhaner Media Works, RHANER Media Works. And
That's
do that. And then you guys know what to do here. Like, comment, subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, Preston, again. You're the man.
Thank you guys.
It's good to see you again and catch up too.
Yeah, good seeing you guys.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next
See you,
time.
dude.